time to finish this facade. Now as you can see here, there will become beautiful arched windows that will let a lot of light inside. This is inspired a little bit by King's Cross Station in London, but made to be a little bit more ornate. I think this is looking really promising. I can't wait to build the rest of the station, and eventually some rail lines and trains. Oh, so exciting. Welcome back, welcome back. I've been working on this part of the city for a while and have teased that I'll be making a giant railway station. I've even built the initial facade and these surrounding buildings, which you can watch me build in a previous video if you're interested. But without any further delay, I think it's time I build the whole thing in one big video. Let's go. I am using sandstone walls to add some details and texture to the walls, which you can particularly see around the windows. This is the same technique I used in other builds in this area, and I think this is a great technique to create these older, more ornate facades. If you have watched our previous videos on this world, you'll remember me saying that this build is inspired by King's Cross Station in London. The main inspiration comes from the large arched windows in the facade, and with the sandstone as a colour palette. Okay, first section done. That alone took nearly 2 hours, excluding the time to gather all of the resources. Now what I'll do next is build this roof section another 3 times to cover the rest of the build. Time for another time lapse. And of course, I've run out of resources, so let's quickly stock back up on deep slate. Down to the mining machine. Boop that note block. And boom! Scoop up the deep slate. Ooh, bonus diamonds. Boom again. Pick up that deep slate. This shouldn't take long. Then back to building. For the roofs, you'll see that I've made these sections at a floor higher than the one I did at the start. This is to add some vertical variation, which helps keep builds looking interesting and not too uniform. I'm using the same arch shape with alternating glass and deep slate stripes. This is the method I found that looked the most realistic. Complete glass looked way too sleek and unrealistic, as there would need to be structural elements to hold it all together. Whereas all deep slate looked way too much like a warehouse and also made it really dark on the inside. I hope you enjoyed that time lapse, and with that the station roof is done, but there is still way more to do to get the exterior finished. There's still these gaps at the back of these buildings that will need filling in. Oh, and the whole back of the build. That concludes the station exterior, but now I need to focus on this interior as it's looking quite bare. I don't usually build realistic interiors, but as I want to build trains and stuff, I feel like this will probably be worth it. The interior wall details are done similarly to the exterior, using some sandstone wool to add depth and texture. I also bring in bricks as a darker tone to add a bit of colour and stop the walls looking completely washed out. I have now run out of smooth sandstone. Okay, this is starting to come together. The walls are looking so good now. However, this station just doesn't feel quite right yet. The roof just seems to be floating, so something needs to be done to make it structurally sound. The solution, I think, is quite obvious. I need to have some pillars coming down in between each arch of the roof. That's what I've seen done in stations that I've been to in real life. You can see I'm making good use out of scaffolding here to build up these pillars. You may also see that I'm using resin as a temporary block to help place in the stairs and slabs. Resin is a great block for this as it can be instantly broken with any tool and doesn't affect player movement like slime or honey blocks. Even with this efficient use of scaffolding, it still took me quite a while to get these pillars in. Oh wow, that has made all the difference. This looks really good now. However, you might have noticed, there's nowhere for the trains to go. Now this is where it gets exciting. From outside the station, you can see this empty area here, which is where the tracks will go. But of course, they can't just stay at this height, or the rail lines will just crash into the station building. So I'll be making a cutting, which is simply where the ground is cut away to allow the tracks to be laid at a lower height. Hopefully, if you didn't quite understand what I meant before, you're starting to see what I had in mind for where the rails will go now. I'm using anvils here for the rails, and don't ask me why I did that, because this is a survival world, and this was probably a mistake. So, I have run out of anvils. Let's go gather what we can from the iron farm, and then do something else while we wait for more of the iron to be made. These railway lines need to go somewhere, and hence I need to turn this area into a cutting for the tracks to go through. Now this will be a lot of digging. This is many hours that I have condensed down here. I even called in assistants to help speed up the process. Considering just how much needed to be dug away, it may have been easier in hindsight to just use TNT or something. But then again, that could have gone quite wrong and destroyed half of the build. I'm not even halfway and both of my pickaxes are worn down. So a quick pit stop at the XP farm is required. That didn't take long. One pickaxe repaired. On to the next. All done. Back to digging. As you can see here, I am digging away the stone, but keeping the shape of the platforms that I want, as these will be made out of stone anyway, so I'm saving quite a bit of time. When designing train stations, you should try and have your platform and track arrangement as realistic as possible. I used Google Maps to see a bird's eye view of major train stations, such as King's Cross in London and Gare de Lyon in Paris. You can also see that I'm slowly raising the track at about an incline of 1 to about 15 blocks or so, which might be a tad on the steep side for a real railway, but I think it looks realistic enough for here. That's the majority of the digging done now. Clearly a lot of anvils still need to go down for the rails. I'm now back inside the station building. Now while this main hall is looking great, it is missing almost all of its detail, and also, there's no way to get to the platforms from the entrance. So let's go fix all of that now. I am adding an upper level where the waiting area and ticket barriers would be, and adding stairs from there down onto the platforms. I'm also adding some lighting with vertical end rods underneath levers, which creates a nice modern lamp design. Time for some banner crafting at 10 times speed. Now Now over the last few time lapses, this interior has improved a lot. Now it's looking so cool, especially with these shaders. These platforms are so much more realistic now with benches and bins, but my favourite detail has to be the departure boards with these banners. Feel free to disagree with me, but I think these are incredible and look just like the real thing. At least from the UK where I'm most familiar with departure boards. Let's mix things up by going back to the exterior for a bit. What I'm doing here is creating a tunnel entrance to the station. Now what is interesting is that there is a road here too, so it is also acting as a bridge for that. To make it look structural, I've gone with gentle arches into pillars centred on each platform. I've also ensured that there are supports beneath the road so that nothing looks like it's floating. This really helps to add to the realism of the station. Okay, I am loving how this is looking out here. But what's not looking so great is that the sides are just bare stone, so I'll create a retaining wall here. I'll try this gradient, dripstone to granite to polished granite. Okay, so I've made a start, and this is how it's looking. I think it looks good. Now I just need to continue it all the way along. Oh, look at those walls, looking so good now. And definitely more realistic than just the plain stone. But you might have also seen that I've been working on extending the tracks just a little bit further. So you see these curves here? They've taken me ages. We don't use any building mods like Litematica, so I've copied these by hand from an online circle generator, while also having them ascend gently upwards. While this method took a long time, I think it was definitely worth it. Just compare it to the freehand road on the other side of the river. Soon I'll work on a rail bridge over the river, which will be fun, but there's no time for that this time. Now remember how I put gravel on the inside? Well, I didn't get that far, and now it's time to put it everywhere here and on the outside. Time for another resource grind. You know, gathering resources is a lot more fun when you do it like this, being able to see your whole city as you go. It almost makes me look forward to the resource grind. Oh yeah, and I'm going to need to make and place a lot of anvils too. Oh damn, really? That's me out of anvils again? All of those anvils were the result of the iron farm running for almost the entire time since I last ran out. Which, in case you didn't know, has been over 12 hours in-game time. It's clear I need to increase the production of anvils. Now, as I'm sure you know, anvils can be very easily duplicated through the end portal, so that's exactly what I've not done. Instead, I've painstakingly started a second iron farm inside of this big building here. I just need to get a couple of villagers into place. Then get some more from a villager breeder, which is miles away, so they have to be transported there first. So they are dropped down underground into a minecart track tunnel, which then goes under the river and up a bubble column so they reappear here. After some finishing touches, including trapping a zombie in here and creating a sorting system, this farm is now working. So I hope you're starting to understand the effort that this video is taking. So if you are enjoying, please do consider subscribing to see more incredible survival city building content in the future. While all of this gravel is being placed, the iron farm is chugging along, as is the original iron farm, which is being chunk loaded. Hopefully this should give us plenty of anvils by the time we are done here. The gravel is now in, as well as some little weed tufts poking through, and of course, we are still missing the rails, so hopefully we have lots of iron to turn into anvils. And with that last craft, we have nearly 18 stacks of anvils ready to place down. That's as far as I got, and it's nowhere near enough. So I think it'll be a matter of waiting for the iron farms from here. I think this is a good place to wrap up this video. Thinking back to where we were at the start, this whole area was nothing except a facade. and in just one video and many hours of my life, we now have a whole station and the start of a railway system. I have many more plans for this area, such as adding the trains themselves and perhaps some overhead electrical cables. But also I wish to build a rail bridge and some more buildings in this area. I don't know myself what I'll work on next, so if you want to find out what follows, subscribe and turn on the bell so you won't miss a thing. Okay, I know I said I'd end it there, but while editing I spent some time AFKing at the iron farms, and also worked on some terraining of the area, which you can see around me. But now you can at last see all the anvils in place for this area and how this area will develop from here. Okay, I really am ending now. Thanks so much for watching, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye now.